at this point, because of the chronology of it, and people have to understand, back in this era, 91, 92, even 90, 91, 92, 93, albums took a long time to make, and then a long time from the time they were done to actually come out. So my question is, when Eazy was trying to get at Quik, had Dre already left?
Dre was gone.
Okay.
When we became a part of Ruthless, Dre was gone.
Okay, because that happened in 91-ish.
Right, and that's when we signed.
Okay.
We signed around, I want to say, April, February, 91.
Okay.
Maybe the summer of 91.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the album came out like about a year.
April, a year later. 92.
And that's the thing I think for people to understand, it's so different in this modern era where you can just have a computer, press record, and everything is done. Whereas back in that era, you know, the album might have been done 6 months, almost a year before it actually came out.
The whole process took
it
more time. The taping.
It was very different.
The cutting and splicing, the whole get down was different.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then with Quik and the things he was going with and getting in and out, how did, because it's interesting, like with High C and Tony A's Scandalous album, and then with your guys' album, he did the majority, but on neither album did he do the whole thing.
Well, actually, he did produce our whole album with the exception of one song.
Well,
the song he didn't do, even though he got the credit for it, and that was another issue later on in the game, Battle Cat did, just to keep your attention.
Right.
And, but I guess based on the powers that be, they gave Quik the production credit. So what had actually happened was when we came back to the table for a soundtrack, we did I'm Gonna Play a Bitch for the Trespass soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack, by the way.
Thanks, thanks.
Ice-T,
I did a lot of the production on that particular song.
Okay.
But I gave Battle Cat the credit simply because we didn't give him no credit on that first project.
See, I had always known, I don't remember how I came to know it, other than I know his name is on it. So I just assumed he did it because of his emerging status at the time with Domino. Was coming soon thereafter, I guess, or around that time too. But the reason I was curious about it is like with High C's album and with your guys' album, how is it, what difference did you notice like when you did songs with him and not with him, like the different ways that different producers worked in that era?
Well, they had a whole lot in common back then. Like Quik and Cat had a whole lot in common because before the situation blew up, they was competitive because Cat used to come over to the P and we'd chop it up and do things, but he was doing his thing. But Cat was like the superior DJ on the tables. Even though Quik was good at everything he did, you know.
Still is.
You know, I mean, he's a one-man band. All he really needed in the studio was a second. And if he got a second engineer, he can basically do anything that needs to be done. But he incorporated a lot of people's talents, and he's, you know, able to, you know, guide and direct, conduct, so to speak, on the next level, even as a young cat, you know, as opposed to Battle Cat. Once again, same type of person, even though his rap skills are, you know, whatever, even though now he's a lot better at what he does. But back then, Cat was just a music man, funky. He incorporated his inspirations from growing up and listening to music. And then on them tables, he was like superior to most. You know what I'm saying? Still is probably.
And even though I grew up in Maryland, I had the fortune of hearing some of the mixes that he did from K-Day, of course. And that is just amazing when you look at like, just using those two with Battle Cat and DJ Quik as examples is like, people forget, and even looking at Dr. Dre, people forget these dudes are actually real DJs.
Absolutely.
And that goes a long way, I think. From everything I've experienced, it goes a long way when you're that good of a DJ to be able to then flip it to making beats. And to actually being a real producer. So when you were doing the Pay the Cost album, what did you notice that was so remarkable that you could even understand at that time, like Quik is like so astounding?
Well, like I said, once again, his ability to learn. He was a student of the game. So everybody that he came around that was real good at what they did, he wanted to do that.
Okay.
So that's why he got so good at engineering, because he studied that. That's why he got good on the keys, because being around certain cats that did certain things, he wanted to do that.
Right.
You know, Quik probably playing several instruments by now. I ain't been around him in a minute,
yeah.
but I'm sure he playing, you know, whatever he want to play and playing with it if not. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Quik also would hold back, right? It's like he would hear things and be able to recreate whatever he wanted to. He could do whatever he wanted to do.
Okay.
But he wouldn't always let you know that he could do that. You know what I'm saying?
And why do you think that was?
Well, you know, however he grew up, I think, you know, it had issues with that, I would imagine, you know, because we was in a situation where the bigger the whole thing got, the bigger the whole thing got. You know what I'm saying? And as each individual got greater, the whole thing was supposed to get greater.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know if everybody involved understood that concept. I mean, we still dealing with it in 2020, so, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, to your point about him being great at everything, I had the fortune of when Exhibit and I did a radio show on K-Day called Open Bar Radio, and one time when we had Quik in the studio, and we did like, I didn't rap, but we did a lot of songs in there, and like, that was one of the craziest things, just seeing Quik, who most people I think regard higher as a producer than a rapper, but I actually saw him in there literally write his rhymes, his whole verse on the yellow pad, write it, and then go rap it, and it was phenomenal, and I still have it.
Listen. When Quik came to our table, he was a singer. He wasn't really rapping.
Okay.
So, I mean, he didn't probably said it in interviews and stuff where he really got that pen from, you know, where he really learned how to do what it is he do. But once again, he was that type of individual. He was that type of student. When you put him around things, he's going to suck all that up. He's going to learn how to do everything. Whatever in there that he want to do, whatever y'all doing, he going to get that. I got that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of cat he was, you know, and he was really dedicated, you know, on a whole nother level from the very beginning, you know, from being around him. He was like a workaholic as well, you know, and that's the difference between a lot of cats that make it and a lot of cats that don't, is, you know, Quik would spend all day into the night. I would have to pull him away to do something for himself because he was on that shit from his waking moments to
dusk till dawn.
Yeah, to you know, all night. I had to, man, can you please go, you know, tend to yourself, because you back here, you know, we need you to get that together. But I mean, he was a young man, and he really wanted it. He was hungry, and he is worthy of all the accolades. You know what I'm saying?
So with the Paid the Cost album, you guys working with Eazy and working with Quik, one of the things that I also thought was interesting about it was the lyrical approach that you guys took throughout the majority of the album with the player angles and talking about women. You know, of course, Short had come before you, and other people, AMG, had some of that elements throughout it. But for you, I wanted you to explain as a writer how you and Tweed kind of approached the subject matter in a different wrinkle.
Okay, well, with that album, we wanted to do other music as well, different, because we had stories, I had different things, right? But I think Priority and Ruthless kind of influenced us to approach it from that angle based on the music that they already was making and they already had. Okay. You know, so exploit this Penthouse Players Clique persona more so as opposed to, I mean, more so than everything that you think it is, Ham. Nah, we want you to give them what they think it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that had a lot of influence. And at the time, I was trying not to be unreasonably aggressive. Okay. You know, as far as what I really wanted to do, I was trying to be cool, you know? And it didn't come off like that too often, like I really wanted it to. But I really was, you know, like I say, dealing with a lot. And so dealing with that and then not having what I needed to guide me through, the record didn't get, in my opinion, enough of me that I really wanted to give it It just basically was, is that what y'all want? Here, you can have that. You know
so
what
would it have been?
It just would have been more versatile. It would have been more, you know, of many more of the things I was on at the time. The poetic perspectives that I had, you know, that were, you know, a little less aggressive, a little more, you know, like rap was transitioning at that time from the battle MCs to the rapping at rappers to rapping at and for your audience. It was transitioning then. But for the most part, I was still kind of in serve mode with the records that we chose. You know what I'm saying? With the records they wanted, with the way they wanted us to do what they wanted us to do. And even Quik kind of guided that as well, you know. I want you to do this. And trying to be respectful and considerate of what I was being, you know, given and what was being expected of me. You know, that's why I came a lot of the ways how I came, you know. And it turned out okay. I mean, I don't regret it. Right. But I just kind of wish I would have been able to do some of them records that we didn't do, that we had, that my man didn't want to really do. He wanted to do them records. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because the thing that's also one of the many things that's interesting about Ruthless in particular, given that you're saying that, is that Ruthless had, you know, the At-Band clan, which is Black Eyed Peas, essentially. They had Yomo and Malky. They had D.O.C. Obviously, people left at different times, but D.O.C. and Michelle A. and N.W.A., they had a wide range of styles of artists. Absolutely. So that's intriguing that on the label side, whether it's Ruthless and or Priority, would have done that when they shown that they could have success having a more well-rounded approach, I guess you would say. Well, I think too, I got a lot to do with that, bro, because, you know, I may not have been as approachable, you know, as I should have been. You know what I'm saying? I may, you know, because basically they made the presentation, the clique was all of us. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And because I wasn't making boss moves to make sure, no, separate mine. You know what I'm saying? It was like, when we had issues with me, Tweed, Quik, and then Eazy was going through whatever he was going through, you know, people thought all them cats was like the clique, when in actuality they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? They were doing their own thing, but so when it was issues and cats moving in different directions and everybody wasn't moving as one, then it became a situation where there is no more clique, so to speak. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they was kind of right because shit was crazy, you know? Yeah. Yeah, that's just throwing me off a little bit, because the reality of it is that whether it's, you know, Eazy or just using Eazy and Quik as right there examples, both of them in different ways had a lot of diversity, sonically, thematically, stylistically, both, even up to that point, up to 92, because Eazy obviously worked with Dre and then didn't work with Dre. and you know, when he started doing his EPs and stuff, he had the Christmas song, he was doing songs with Naughty by Nature, he was just all over the place, showing all these different sides, so that's intriguing. Well, I mean, like I said, once again, I'm grabbing on all my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking, you know, my part in that.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.